everyone, it's Karen Roberts with the Emerald Financial Group. Welcome to Take a Minute Thursday. So glad you're joining us here to take a minute and get some education. I'm joined by Nicole Loughlin, and she will introduce herself in a minute. If you remember from last week, we talked about estate planning documents and why you need them. Hopefully, you're already thinking about who's going to be the guardian of your children. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, please visit our website at emerald-financialgroup.com. Under videos are all of our Take a Minute Thursday educational videos. So now we're going to get started with Nicole, and she's going to talk about a will, a trust. Do I really need to pay for a trust, and what really is the difference? So Nicole, take it away.
Thanks, Karen. And again, my name is Nicole Loughlin, Loughlin Law PA. I am an estate planning and probate attorney in Boca Raton, Florida, and we do estate planning and probate all throughout the state of Florida. So the difference between a will and a trust is pretty simple. A will is something that has no relevance during your lifetime. It only becomes relevant upon your death. A trust is a living document that can be used during your lifetime. It can be funded during your lifetime. It can be defunded during your lifetime. It can be revoked. You can tear it up. You can create a new one. So a trust is a document that grows with you. A will is something that will designate who your personal representative is. That is the person who's going to administer your estate upon your death. It's where you can nominate a guardian of your minor children. And it's where you can make your wishes known in terms of distribution of your estate, or your residuary estate, who you want to take your stuff and who you want to take your assets. But that's the extent of it. If you have minor children cannot inherit money or property as a minor. And when they can inherit is when they're 18 years old, which is not always the best age for a minor to inherit money or property. So that's why we have a trust. Yeah. So if you have minor children, even if you don't have a huge estate, you don't have a lot of assets yet, you're growing or you're at the start of your career and you plan to have a lot of assets at some point, but not right now, a trust is still something that you want to consider because of the minor beneficiaries. Additionally, if you have complicated wishes in terms of how you want your estate to descend, let's say you want to donate some money to charity, you want to give certain gifts to different people or classes of people, you want to leave different percentages to different classes of people, then you may want a trust because you can get very specific with a trust. Also with a trust is a private document that you do not have to produce to anybody. A will is not a private document, and it's a document that will be deposited with the court upon your death. So those are some ways that a simple will and a trust are different.
So are you saying that if I only have a will, that the entire world will know all of my assets if they want?
If they want, yes. Yeah, absolutely. And some people will say, well, if I'm getting a trust, do I still need to have a will? And the answer is yes. A robust estate plan and a trust-based plan will also have a will, because like I said, a will is going to designate the personal representative. Let's say you have a trust and you forgot to fund it with, let's say, a checking account that you had. And you only had that checking account for a certain project, like a renovation, and it didn't have a lot of money in it, but it had some money in it, and your beneficiaries want that money. Well, if it doesn't have, if the trust is not a beneficiary, or if it's not held in the name of the trust, then that account will go through probate. And so you need to have what we call a pour over will that will be deposited with the court and say any assets that were left out of the will, it's our intent that, or my intent, that those assets be distributed in accordance with the will. And so that asset will still go through the probate process, which we'll explain in the next video, but ultimately it will be governed by the trust. So, and finally, just to kind of touch on probate a little bit, a will does not avoid probate. If you have assets that have no beneficiary designation, let's say a condo that's held in your name alone, or an investment account, or a bank account, checking or savings account, and you do not have a beneficiary, pay on death or transfer on death designated beneficiary, then those assets will be subject to probate. If you have a trust and you've properly funded the trust with those assets, then all of those assets will seamlessly go through the trust and you can avoid probate. Now, there are ways that you can DIY your estate to avoid probate. If your estate is very simple, you don't have to worry about minor children and you don't have complicated wishes, but you have to be very careful that you've gone through and you've properly named beneficiaries, and you're not just saying, well, I have 3 kids, but my oldest is the most responsible, so I want her to be the beneficiary on all my bank accounts and she'll do the right thing. I have no doubt that your oldest daughter will do the right thing. And in some cases, they don't do the right thing. But let's say they will do the right thing according to mom or dad or whoever. But she's a beneficiary on the account. The second you die, it's her money. So when she goes to split it up between her brother and sister, she might be responsible for gift taxes or whatever the case may be, because it would be as if she were writing a check from her own personal bank account. So those are things that we look out for, especially when people are trying to DIY their estate to avoid probate.
Right. Listen, better to spend a little bit of money today to spend a lot of money tomorrow. And
That's
for
right.
those of you that think those 3 kids aren't going to fight, we've seen kids that fight over $10,000 and kids that fight over $10 million. Doesn't matter the size, money is money, and people fight over it. So please get your estate planning documents taken care of.
Absolutely.
So thank you guys so much for listening in on another edition of Take a Minute Thursday. If you have any questions or you're ready to move forward with your estate plan, please reach out to myself or to Nicole. Our contact information is down below, and we would be more than happy to help you. So other than that, take care, everyone. Have a great Thursday.
Thanks, guys.